A beautiful Thursday afternoon here in the city of Abuja, and you are all welcome to today's edition of the Youth Agenda. Here with me in the studio today, I have some amazing youth in the house, and the presence of Mubarak and Jerry. Today we are going to talk about something that I find it both terrible and funny, right? You know, it's one thing for an event not to happen, and someone comes out to say that even without evidence and facts, that the event actually occurred. And it's on a whole another level entirely, when something has happened and we have the evidences, the records are there, we have the facts to verify, and someone will come out and say that there is nothing like that happening. Right? So let's talk about the case of the governor of Benue State. He came out to say that, and I want to quote the Premium Times. He said that there is no religious genocide in Benue State. And from the records, from the fact that we've had, in the first 220 days of 2025, we have over 1,100 people have been killed in Benue State. Let me come to you first, Jerry. What do you have to say about this?
Well, you know, it's pretty telling, and it's a very sad thing. I was telling you off screen, like, it's a very sad thing where we as Nigerians, we see what's going on, like evidence choke. You understand?
Actually,
evidence choke, and then a governor or someone in the government can come and say, what you people are saying is not real.
It's not real.
What I'm saying is the real thing, and you'll tell me that Benue, that we have been hearing all these killings and all these things happening over and over and over again in just this year alone. A Catholic priest will come and say, there's no killings. It's not happening in this country. It's sad. It's absolutely sad. And I think it's a telling of how much they value us as Nigerians. If they can lie to our face over this kind of issue, then what else are they lying to us about?
Okay, how about you, Mubarak? What do you have to say about this?
To me, it is unfair that a sitting governor of that particular state, a reverend father for that matter, comes out and says that says that thing didn't happen. Where evidently we have videos online of the killings, we have people talking about it.
We have the statistics.
We have the statistics. Whereas he came out and say it didn't happen, which is actually not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
All right. Okay, you made mention of the fact that he's a Catholic priest.
Yes.
He's a reverend father, right?
Reverend father.
And if I don't want to be mistaken, right? The Bible says that when the righteous are in power, the people rejoice, isn't it? Now, we'll have to say that since this is in the Bible, as a reverend father, I think he believes in this statement. And the Christians are seen as the righteous people, right? At least if you give your life to Christ, you're a righteous man. So it means that Reverend Father Alia is an example of someone that is righteous, that is in power. And would you say that the people of Benue State are rejoicing as it should be, or they are not?
No, I think the perfect answer to that question is the protests, the end genocide protests that happened this year in Benue State under his leadership. That is the perfect example of what this kind of quote-unquote Christian is leading, is peddling. Since we're talking about the facts, I actually want to read a report from the Catholic report, an article that says that over 7,899 Christians have been killed in Nigeria this year alone. Because it's not just him that is saying this thing. Because I think you are kind of watering it down in the sense that you are saying that, okay, he's saying there's no genocide. And not only did he say there's no genocide, he said there's no jihadist extremists going on in Nigeria. That is what he said. And for us, we have been staying in this country for the past 2 decades now. I've been seeing Boko Haram. We have been seeing ISWAP and all this kind of terrorist group coming up, and they have made it extremely clear that we are here. We are Islamic extremists. We are here to, spread the Islamic faith through violence. We are here to establish a caliphate, which is essentially what the jihadists they do from ISIS. This is what they want to do, and you're telling me that it doesn't exist a Christian, even when the Catholic report is actually saying that no.
So he's not arguing with the authority of the Catholic Church, which he's working under as a priest. So if a priest, a pastor, it's just the denomination, right? If a pastor will come out and say that the killing of over 7,000 Christians is not a genocide, please, sir, what do you think that is? Because
we need to ask him again.
Okay. How would you want to react to that?
Okay.
So, a pastor claiming that is not a genocide, that is not happening.
A reverend father is a well-respected someone in this society. Everybody respects a reverend father. I mean, everybody expects you to speak the truth. And whatever it is that you say, people don't want to even second-guess it.
Okay.
We have videos of people being burnt alive. We have videos of killings, right? Whereas you saw those videos and you still come out claiming that those occurrences did not happen, which is actually sad, right? So this issue of killings, I feel like it's been under a narrative, okay, which I would also like to address in the sense that the people that are perpetrating these acts, right? They come outside, claiming they are under their Muslims and all of those things, calling the word Allah Akbar for that. Even the religion Islam itself does not teach us to be violent.
Facts.
Does not teach us exactly. Teaches us to love one another, to be peaceful, and all of those things that they are portraying are not the teachings of Islam. It's just what they intend to do as a person. So,
all right. So coming to, I think I will still have one or two to say on that, and being a pastor, right, or being a reverend father, and you are now a politician. You're governing people. You are expected to do better. Right? Because the people, the masses see you as an example that others should follow, being a Christian. Because if you want to follow the teachings of Christianity, right, he's someone that people should be looking up to in this particular case, right? So when he's the one coming out, and we also have reactions from other pastors. I'm coming to you, Jerry. The pastor of what's the name of that church again? Streams of Joy, right? Jerry Eze came out yesterday on his Twitter handle to tweet, and I quote, "About time God of judgment spare no enemy of Nigeria and their sponsors in Jesus' name. Enough is enough of this banditry, terrorism, and wickedness. Fire." Right? Do you believe we have been a Christian, we have been both Christian and Muslim nation, let me say majority since independence, even before then, right? From what we have had, from the experiences that we have had, even before we were born, and right from when we were given birth to up till now, do you believe that there is this God factor in salvaging the insecurities of a particular country, not Nigeria in particular? Is there anything like that? Is God really involved in taking people out of insecurity, or it is the responsibilities of men? And we will not have to forget the fact that God is not the source, or he's not the brain behind the insecurity that the people are experiencing. So do you think that if God is not the anchor of this particular situation, do you think that he really has interest, or he can help the people?
I mean, as a Christian and someone who believes strongly in God and has a very deep faith, I would say there's really nothing God cannot do.
Okay.
But
you are even quoting them.
Yeah. There's really nothing God cannot do. But there's also the idea of, like, if you have studied the Bible as well as I have, you notice that, humans, even God's chosen people, the Israelites of old, they had a habit of, falling out of place with God. Or essentially what God says go this way, they say we are going this way. They have the habit of going the other way. This way. And that usually causes this, should I say, instability, insecurity, and all sorts of problems with the people. And I think it's something that is echoed here in Nigeria as well. We have people who are fundamentally, for example, this pastor now, like you said, a pastor is supposed to speak the truth. It's a fundamental tenet of Christianity. You should tell the truth. Jesus Christ says, "I am the truth."
The way, the truth.
And if we are Christians, we should be the truth. We should say the truth. And for somebody to come and actually just lie to our face like this, it shows that you have deviated
from the principles
of
the same faith.
So you cannot expect God now, who is a yes, God is a loving Father, but God also respects the wishes of man. If you are going to go away from my dictate, you are going to go away from what I have said you should do, then you will face the consequences. And I think Nigeria is facing. So I think if we're really going to talk about the God factor of how God can help us to fix it, like Jerry used to say, God should help us. It also means that, we should also turn away from this deviation that we have had and turn back to God. Right. It's the same thing with, with the way the Bible says, if my people can humble themselves and pray. If we can humble ourselves and say, okay, we have tried our rubbish since, now we humble ourselves, God, come and help us. I feel like, yes, definitely. But it's not just about prayer. It's also about actions. I cannot just say, I want to change this thing, and at the end of the day, I relax and I sit down, and I don't do anything about it. So there's also that factor as well. Yeah.
All right. So what's your take? My brother, Bubarak, do you believe that God can totally come to our rescue without the involvement of the people that are even the cause of this particular action?
Okay, so there's nothing that happens that God is not aware about. Okay, so as much as God is aware about it and God has control over all situations, that does not mean we should just sit back and leave Him to change the situation. We are the one in the act, we are the one on the field. So we change the situation ourselves by our acts, while also trusting that God is also going to intervene.
All right.
Yeah. So when it comes to all of these acts, we are humans. We know the difference between good and bad. So why is it that there's good and we choose not to go for the good, we intend to go for the bad?
We choose the bad.
We choose the bad,
and we now wait for God to come and rescue us from the bad choices that we made.
Exactly. So that's
okay. Particularly, I am not against prayers, right? I'm not saying that people should pray. People should not pray. But my point is, if God is not the source of what is happening, why do we have to believe or wait for Him to be the one, right, to remove us from the same situation that we by ourselves? Because I believe the afflictions that's happening in the world is caused by men.
By men.
And I also believe that it is men in their wisdom that God has given us are the ones responsible for taking us out. Okay, a quick one before we take a break. Jerry, I don't want to call this partiality, right? But let's talk about it. There is another reaction from a popular pastor of the Salvation Ministry, Pastor David Ibiome. He tweeted yesterday that, and I quote, any kidnapper that dares any member of Salvation Ministries dies from now till Sunday. I think that thing happened yesterday. I think the tweet came out yesterday. So he mentioned the members of his congregation, which is Salvation Ministry, right? Okay. So are we saying that outside the members of his congregation, he's not wishing other Christians in other denominations well? So what happens to us? What happens to me that I'm not a member of his congregation? Okay. Please, Jerry.
Okay, I cannot speak for him personally, but there's this common belief in Christianity that there are sheep and there are shepherds, and even though our God is the good shepherd, where the pastors or the GOs or whoever is in charge of his congregation is seen as the earthly shepherd in charge of that particular congregation. So I guess in his own purview, to his own prerogative or his own whatever it is that he has, he's saying that these are the people that I am in charge of. So these are the people that God has placed over me. So if you are under me, I therefore say what I used to say. So I don't know why he did not say every other person.
Why he didn't extend the coverage, the security too.
So I don't know, but like I said, every shepherd has their own sheep. So I guess he's speaking for it on behalf of his own sheep. So that's what it is.
I know you don't have this experience.
You don't have this experience.
But of course,
but you have, you still have. So what's your take? What's your take? You know that we are one, irrespective of, we came from the same source, right? And we're going back to the same source. So what do you think? What's your take on a pastor covering his people and leaving people outside?
So I mean, him making this statement does not only mean that he's covering his people, right? But of course, those are the people close to him. His congregation is his family, right? That's why he's making reference that, okay, whoever comes to my family, but that does not mean, it doesn't mean good for others.
For everyone.
That does not mean.
All right, that was a quick one. This is a topic that if you want to talk about it, it will take days. So for now, we are going to take a short break.
Okay.
And we'll be back shortly. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.